Okay, that's it. Hare Krishna. Okay, again, sorry for some reason. The computer died and we had to change computers again. In the future, I'll just stick to my old computer. So, is this on a new? Is it on the same one? Okay, well, sorry about that, everyone. Technical problem. So, we're just going to start again. So, we're just hearing that Brajanath's family trying to arrange his marriage, but Brajanath, by hearing Harikatha, had developed detachment. That is symptom of bhakti, jnanam chayada hoitakim. When one is developing bhakti by hearing katha, automatically knowledge and renunciation develop in him. So if someone is doing bhakti but no renunciation coming, that means not doing bhakti. So Brajanath was trying to avoid the marriage, so there was some tension in the family. So his cousin brother Venimadhav, who was short, black, thick neck, all inauspicious symptoms, he came, but he had a long friendship with Brajanath. Oh, Brajanath, you are the only surviving male member. Why you're not marrying? Why you develop so much detachment from this world? Then Brajanath, thinking Venimadhav to be his friend, he explained, brother, I go to the Vaishnavas at Mayapur. There was one Raghunath Das Babaji. I hear katha from him. And by hearing katha, then I have no more interest to enter married life. So Venimadhav had some personal benefit in arranging the marriage. He said, don't worry, brother. If you take sannyas, I will carry your danda and kamandalu. This way Brajanath confided in him more. And Venimadhav said, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Don't worry, leave it in my hands. Then Venimadhav went to Mayapur. So Venimadhav came to Shiva Sangam. He sat under the bakul tree there and he saw the Vaishnavas are living very nicely. They're like the bulls of religion. He saw the ladies of the villages automatically would bring the Vaishnavas vegetables, milk, water, fruits, whatever they needed. Each Vaishnava was living in some leaf cottage surrounded by vines of Madhavi flowers and other things. They were very happy, very good life. Then Venimadhav said, what is this? Very sad. This is the influence of Kali Yuga, because actually all this is meant to be enjoyed by the Brahmanas. The Brahmanas had arranged society that everyone should only the Brahmanas could read Shastra, the scriptures. Everyone would take Brahmanas for the performance of the different karma kand rites like Shraddha, marriage, etc. But now these Vaishnavas are getting all the benefit. So he become angry and envious. So he entered one kunj, and just by the will of providence, that happened to be the kunj of Raghunath Das Babaji. That is the Shiksha Guru of Brajanath Prabhu. So in Bengali, there's two ways to address someone. One is respectful and formal, apani, and the other one is informal, for juniors, for children. So that is Tumi. So Babaji addressed him as Tumi because Babaji was like 90 years old and this Venimadhav was probably like 25, no more than that, 30. So when Babaji asked Tumi Kemonachen or something, how are you? Then Venimadhav became very angry, being addressed informally. Who do you think you are? Can you become equal to the Brahmanas just by wearing a door kopan, a loincloth? Then Babaji Maharaj could understand why he's angry. But when he walked in the kutir, then Babaji Maharaj immediately thought, oh, this is personification of the age of Kali. Just by looking at him, he could understand this fellow was demonic. So they began talking. Then Venimadhav said, do you know Brajanath? Panchanyaya? Oh yes, sometimes by his kindness Brajanath comes here. Don't trust him, Baba. He was saying very bad things about you. No, and the Brahmanas of his area are very angry at you. They want to destroy you, and Brajanath is coming as their spy and secret agent to destroy the Vaishnavas here. Don't worry, then he might have said, I will give you good advice. Don't tell Brajanath I came. Like this, and he left. Then Babaji was thinking, my God, this guy was such an asura. Oh Bhagavan, please protect me from association with demonic persons like this. So Venyamadeva went home and he met with Brajanath. And he said, oh Brajanath, oh, I went to Mayapur and I met one guy, Raghunath Das Babaji. Oh yes, then somehow we started talking. He started saying very bad things about you. He said, oh, this Brajanath, he's very puffed up with being from a high family, but I am destroying his caste by feeding the remnants of low-class people. Well, this is the snake, right? Going this side, saying something, and going another side, doing something else. You know? So Brajanath didn't know why, but he felt his faith in the Vaishnavas doubled. And he became very serious. Oh, Venyamadeva, don't say anything more. I will now think about the situation. So, thinking that, Brajanath went to Mayapur for darshan. When he saw Babaji Maharaj, he began to weep and fell at his feet. Then Babaji Maharaj also with so much affection. Why? What happened? Oh, I have one cousin brother. His nature is to say bad things to you about me and say bad things to me about you. Please don't believe him. Then Babaji said, Ha, Bhagavan, I have served Guru Vaishnava and Bhagavan many years, so I have some intelligence, I have some discrimination. Don't worry about him. No? So, that was clear. Then, he asked his questions. Brajanath asked, please tell me this, and please tell me now how a jiva can become free from Maya. Babaji said this is the 7th verse of Dasmal Shiksha. Everyone learning their verses? Vasudha? Damayanti? Hopeless. Hoping against hope. Because now we're getting on the verse. The more you don't learn it, the further behind you fall. Okay. Yada Brahmamam Hariras Galad Vaishnavajanam Katachit Sampasyantad Anugamane Shad Ruchiyutaha Tada Krishna Britya Tyajati Sanake Mayakadasam Sarupam Bibramo Bimalaras Bojan Su Sa Akurute. Okay. In the course of wandering amongst many different species of life, the jiva, the soul, is able to meet a Vaishnava who is overflowing with bhakti ras, with Sri Bhakti ras. By associating with a Vaishnava, taste arises in the heart for following the Vaishnava way of life. By chanting Sri Harinam, he becomes free from all fault, and step by step, he gains his intrinsic Chinmay Swarup and becomes qualified to taste the pure spiritual ras of direct service to Krishna. Okay. Relation with Krishna is not had in this material body, that is had in a spiritual body. Okay. So, Brother said, I would like to hear more. Okay, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I accept. But are there any proof from the Vedas or other scriptures? Malati, drink some water, then you won't sleep. So he quoted again from the Mundak Upanishad and the Swataswatara Upanishad. Okay. This slok says, in the tree, this body is like a tree. In this tree is two birds. One is the individual soul, and one is the super soul. No? The individual soul-like bird, He is busy eating the fruits of happiness and distress. And bewildered by Maya, he cannot find any means of deliverance. Therefore he laments. When he laments, then he can have darshan of the other bird who is within his heart. The Supreme Lord, then the conditioned soul becomes free from all limitation and attains his position as a servant of Krishna. So that is from the Mundaka Upanishad. How a soul captured by Maya can become liberated. Okay. So Brajana says, does this verse imply liberation? Then Babaji says, yes, but what is real liberation? Already there are 5 types of liberation. But here the Bhagavatam discusses the highest type of liberation. Mukti hidvanyatam rupam swarupena vivyastati. Liberation is when the soul is situated in his sarup. Okay? Means when he is situated in his original spiritual form, that is called liberation. So, attaining one's constitutional position is liberation. Okay? Then when one is liberated, one begins many, many activities in loving service to Krishna. So liberation is not the goal, but the activities of loving Krishna, that is the goal. That is the prayojan. Okay? Chandogya Upanishad states, when the jiva achieves liberation, he transcends the gross and subtle bodies and is situated in his eternal, non-material spiritual form. He then becomes transcendently situated. Understand, Sita? Little move closer, then you can hear him. Or you can sit here. He then becomes absorbed in real enjoyment. Okay? Bhog, Kriya, and Ananda. He becomes situated in blissful activities, enjoyment, and bliss. Okay, said that twice. Okay. What are the symptoms of the liberated souls? 8 symptoms are there. He is free from all sinful activity. He is free from the addiction to sinful activity that arises because of Maya. He is not subject to old age. Someone may say, look, the Vaishnava also become old. No, because always in the Sarup. Therefore remain unaffected by old age. He is always young and fresh. He never decays. He never comes to an end. He never dies. He never laments. He has no sensual desires. They have natural inclination to serving Krishna. These 8 qualities are absent from the Bada Jiva. 8 symptoms. So Brajana says, is that then the Jiva can achieve Hari Ras, Hari Bhakti Ras by another method? No. Krishna clearly states, na rotiti na mam yoga na sankham na dharma udavas, na swadyas na tapastyago yatir bhakti mamochita. Krishna clearly states, Uddhav, I am not attained by austerities, by penances, by Sankhya philosophy, by yoga, by meditation, by dry study of the Vedas, by renunciation, by charity, by accepting sannyas, performing welfare activities, chanting mantras, performing yagyas or other vows, or going on pilgrimages. I am attained only by association of the sadhus. Okay. So already we heard a lot the glories of sadhu sang, but this chapter so much emphasize again, no other way to become free from birth and death than to stay in the association of sadhus. So, The association of materialists is the cause of bondage. Vasudha, try and stay awake. If you put your head like that, you're going to sleep. If you sit properly, then you won't sleep. Association of the materialist is the cause of bondage. And association of Vaishnavas is the cause of liberation. Okay. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj says, Naisim matisthavada dukramani sprishedanatu pagama yadataha mihiya samyat padarodo bishekan maskinchanasyaya braneti yavat. Those who are very attached to their bodies never developed attachment to the feet of Urukram Sri Krishna until they placed the foot dust of an Niskinchan Vaishnava upon their head. And no one achieves liberation except by the mercy of the Vaishnavas. Okay, the Bhagavatam also says, one is purified by holy places and rivers and by worship of the demigods after a long time. But one is immediately pured by darshan of a pure Vaishnava. So again and again we hear, no other way to be free from birth and death except sadhusanga. Bhagavatam says, Bhava pavago brahmato yato bhavet bhavashi tarhiya chuta satsamagamaha satsangi tarhiya chuta satsamas paravesh tvai jayati rati. How do we know when someone's cycle of birth and death is finished? When he comes face to face with the Vaishnava. That means his period of material existence is now khatam, finished. So, since time without beginning, the soul is moving in this ocean of birth and death, according to his karma, sometimes he's a demigod, sometimes human being, sometimes a worm and stool. But from the time that he achieves association of the Vaishnavas, that time he can fix his mind on Krishna. Okay. So who is that person who will give up the association of the devotees? Only that person who makes too much aparad. No? So always be careful. So again, we're talking now about Sukriti, Malati. Rajanath asked, you have said the association of Sudha Bhaktas is achieved by Sukriti. What is Sukriti? Is it karma or is it Gyan? Already we heard this, but not from Rajanath. No? Already we heard this from Sannyasi Thakur. The discussion of three types of Sukriti, Karma Unmukh Sukriti, Gyan Unmukh Sukriti, and Bhakti Unmukh Sukriti. So again we're hearing the necessity of Sukriti. So, what is Sukriti? Is it Karma or Gyan? No? So, right, one type of Sukriti is by Karma, feeding the poor, giving your daughter in marriage, performing the 10 samskars, giving some charities, giving donations, doing yagyas. These are all one type of Sukriti connected with karma. That gives material enjoyment, elevation to the higher planets, fulfillment of material desires. There is also Jnana Unmukh Sukriti by meditation, fasting, performing Nitya Dharma, right? For the desire for liberation, this also gives one type of Sukriti called Jnana Unmukh Sukriti. But here we are discussing Bhakti Prad Sukriti, Bhakti Unmukh Sukriti. Okay. These are somehow connected with Sudha Bhakta or Sudha Bhakti. Okay. The only auspicious activities that give bhakti as an end result are associating with Sudha Bhaktas and with place, time, and things that also give devotion. No? Like fasting on Ekadasi, visiting the holy places, or associating with the sadhus. This gives bhakti unmukh sukriti. Okay. So the other two types of sukriti that deal with karma and gyan, they give a temporary result, then are exhausted. But bhakti unmukh sukriti is not like that. When Sukriti is collected in enough sufficient amounts, it gives association of the Vaishnavas. So activities such as sadhusang, observing Ekadasi, Janmashtami, Gaur Purnima, Tulsi, Mahaprasad, visiting the temple, visiting the holy places, and touching the articles used by sadhus, right? Their shoes or something, their rooms, their bhajan kutis. This gives pious deeds which drag one towards bhakti. Okay. So, discussing that. So Brajanath understands. Babaji also quotes from the scripture, karma and gyan give always a secondary result, a temporary result. But activities related to bhakti never give a secondary result, always give the primary result. This is explained in the Bhagavatam. Maharaj quoted it yesterday. Satam prasangam mama virja sambhavo bhavanti ritkana rasayana kata tadyosunat asva vagavatani shraddha rati bhakti anukramasati. In association of the pure Vaishnavas, one gets a chance to hear my very powerful Harikatha, my Lila Katha. This Lila Katha is very pleasing to the heart and to the ears and mind. When we hear Katha, we always feel happy, or at least we should. So by cultivating devotion, one gradually develops the stage of Shraddha, then Bhav Bhakti, then finally Prema Bhakti. Okay. So activities related to karma and gyan never give sadhusang. So Brajana said, I understand that sadhusang is the only sukriti that gives rise to bhakti. One has to listen to Harikatha from the mouth of sadhu and one can achieve devotion. Is this the proper way to progress in devotion? Okay. So how we progress. Already Bhagavatam says Shraddha to Bhav or Rati and then to Prema Bhakti. Okay. So Babaji Maharaj gives some examples. Any of the many limbs of devotion, 64 limbs, any of them may touch a jiva's life. Right? Ekadasi, some Mahaprasad, maybe some Charnamrita, some Shravan Kirtan. He comes to the temple, he bows, he performs archan. Maybe he comes to Kartik. 64 limbs of devotion. So any of the 64 limbs of devotion may touch the life of the jiva. He may fast on Ekadasi. He may visit the holy place. He may serve a guest who happens to be a Vaishnav. He may hear some Harikatha. Okay. But if one desires karma or gyan from these activities, it cannot give bhakti. We heard that already, no? I think it was in the 3rd or 4th chapter. If someone is doing these activities like Sandhya Vandam, serving guests, fasting on Ekadasi, worshipping the deity of Vishnu, but their desire is karma or gyan, they cannot get bhakti on muksakriti. It cannot be called limbs of devotion even though they're worshipping Vishnu. But if someone contacts these limbs of devotion and does not desire enjoyment or liberation, then they can get bhakti. Okay? So, if an innocent person performs these activities without desiring enjoyment or liberation, these activities cause the accumulation of bhakti prad sukriti. Okay, so very important. No? After accumulating sukriti for many births, it becomes concentrated enough to develop faith in pure bhakti. It means coming sadhusang, hearing. You get enough sukriti to develop faith, shraddha. So by developing shraddha, then one desires to follow the life of the Vaishnava. That is called bhajana kriya. By doing bhajan, there is a removal of anatas, anata nivritti. When anatas are removed, the devotee becomes steady, nishta. Then that nishta matures into ruchi, taste, ashakti, attachment to Krishna, and finally matures into rati, bhav bhakti. Okay. The idea is that without proper security, one cannot associate with sadhus. And some people have security to associate with sadhus, but do aparad, then they go away. So have to be careful also. So, anyway, so he was saying here now what Gurudev always says, first comes association, then when one develops real faith, then one again associates. Again he does sadhusang with Shraddha. Okay. So Brajanath asks, how many types of anathas are there? There are 4 types of anathas. Okay, anatta means that which has no real value, that which has no connection to Bhagavan. So Surup Brahm, Asat Trishna, Hriday Dubalya, and Aparad. Okay, 4 types of anathas. And each of these 4 has 4. So 16 anathas. Okay. Surup Brahm, not understanding the Surup of Bhagavan, not understanding the Surup of you, yourself, not understanding the Surup of what is the goal of life and the means to achieve it, not understanding that which is opposed to bhakti. These are 4 types of Surup Brahm. 4 types of Asat Trishna, thirst for enjoyment, enjoyment in this world, enjoyment in the heavenly planets, desire to enjoy the mystic perfections, and desire for liberation. These are 4 types of Asat Trishna, thirst for material things. There are 3 types of Hriday Durbalya, weakness of heart. Okay. Enviousness, criticizing, duplicitous behavior, and I think Jiva-himsa, violence to the Jivas. These are 4 types of weakness in the heart, and 4 types of aparad. Now, what are they? Aparad which comes from previous pious activities, aparad which comes from obstacle which comes from previous impious activities. I think the 32 type of Seva aparad and Vaishnava aparad. Also Jiva aparad is there, violence to the Jiva. So that is 16 anathas. Okay, so he gives a nice little summary. The Jiva's first anatta, Surup Brahm, misunderstanding one's spiritual identity. He forgets I am the eternal servant of Krishna. Malsi, uncovered by the gross and subtle bodies, he thinks I'm something else. When you think you're something else, then you have many desires for a son, or for some wealth, or celestial pleasures. Then there's 10 type of aparads, which we'll discuss later. Then he has weakness of heart. Okay. These 4 type of anatas are caused by nisarga, the transformation of the jiva's pure spiritual condition. They are gradually removed by cultivating devotion in the association of sadhus. Okay. The path of yoga have no power to remove anatas. Okay. So Brajanath asks, can people with anatas be called liberated souls? Then he quotes the Bhagavatam. Out of countless billions and billions and billions of souls, only few become humans. Those who have humans, very few follow religious principles. This is all Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction to Rupa Goswami. Those who follow religious principles, most follow by mouth, but don't really follow. I am Christian, I am Muslim, I am Hare Krishna, but not following anything. Those who follow religious principles, very few have no desires. Those who have no desires, only few desire liberation. And muktinam api siddhanam narayana parayana sudurlabha prasantatma kotis api mahamuni. Out of millions of liberated souls, to find even one devotee of Krishna is very rare. So there's the answer to your question. Someone with anatas can be liberated? No. So, Brajanadas, does Vaishnav mean renounced or married? Babaji says, doesn't depend on marriage or renunciation, it depends on bhakti. You've already discussed 5 types Brajanatas. You said already there are 5 types of jivas who are captured by Maya. Remember them, Malati? For $10,000? Hope you forget. Avanatmik, those who are completely covered. Achedan, what is it? Completely covered souls, what's the word? Achadi Chaitanya. Achadi Chaitanya, then blossoming like worms and insects, animals. That is Mukhalita. Then that is Sankuchita. Then Mukhalita means human beings of many types. Then the Vikasit and Puna Vikasit Chaitanya. So 5 types of souls who have material bodies. Okay, 5 types of souls. So Brajanath said, you said there are 5 types of souls in this prison of Maya's stronghold. So are the devotees doing sadhana bhakti and in the stage of bhav bhakti? Are they also liberated? Babaji Maharaj says, no, it's someone even in the stage of bhav, he is not called a liberated soul. My goodness, huh? Sometimes we think so easy. No easy. Okay. So Babaji explains, no. Vastugat Mukti, complete liberation from the gross and subtle bodies, is achieved only when one reaches full maturity in sadhan bhajan. Before this complete liberation, he must be conditioned by the mind and body, even in the stage of bhav bhakti. Like when Rahuganath insulted Bharat Maharaj. Bharat Maharaj felt some, even in such a high stage, he felt some, what's a good word? He felt some dissatisfaction with the king's behavior. So Bharat, so much high, even when his head was about to be cut off, he felt no fear, but even some disturbance was there. No? Bhaktivedanta Swami says, as long as you have a material mind and body, there will be some disturbance. No? So, even in the stage of bhav bhakti, which comes a result of practicing bhakti yoga sadhana, he gives up the gross body, and only after, when bhav bhakti matures, he gives up the gross and subtle body, then he achieves full liberation. Consequently, the jiva is not fully free from Maya's control, even in the beginning stage of bhav bhakti. Because a trace of conditioning of Maya always remains as long as the jiva is performing sadhan bhakti. Therefore, Maharaj is speaking so much. What is the definition of a sadhak? Qualified to see Krishna, but still some obstacle is there. Even in the stage of bhav bhakti, some obstacle is there. Therefore, the authorities have concluded that sadhan bhakti and bhav bhakti, they are both amongst the 5 stages of conditioned souls. Therefore, if you see some fault in a high-class Vaishnava, you should not give any importance to it. You should see it like bubbles and mud in the Ganga. No? Bubbles and mud is there, some imperfection may be there in a Vaishnava, some low birth, maybe uneducated, maybe rough behavior, maybe laziness even. But these things cannot touch their sarup. No? So always be careful. Okay? So, the impersonalists believe one can achieve liberation by knowledge, but it's not a fact. Ye anye yadavinda muktimaniya smalati astabhava vasudha buddhaya. No, this is in 10th canto. The impersonalists think, I am liberated. But because they have not adopted the service of Krishna, patanti nadrita, because of disrespect of Krishna, again they come back to this world, even from the stage of liberation. Okay. So Brajanath asks, how many types of liberated souls are there? One page left, Vasudha. How many types of liberated souls are there? There are two types of liberated souls. The Nityasiddhas, of course, they never come to this world. And the Badamuktas, those who were conditioned but became liberated. So two types. What are the two types, Vasudha? Are you hearing anything? What are the two types of liberated souls? Nityasiddha and Sadhansiddha. Here he used the word Badamukta. Badamukta was Bada, was conditioned but became liberated. But Sadhansiddha is same. So the Nityamukta is also two types. Some attracted to the opulence of Krishna, Narayan, and some attracted to the sweetness. Aishwaryagat and Madhuryagat, they're devotees of Krishna. Okay. So those who are attracted to Narayan, they come from Sankarshan. Okay. And those who are attracted to Krishna's service come from Balaram. Okay. These are the Nityasiddhas. So there are three types of Badamukta Jivas who were conditioned and became. Actually, Sadhansiddha is not correct because not all are Sadhansiddhas. Some also Kripa Siddhas. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur uses the word Badamukta. There are three types of Badamuktas. They were conditioned but became liberated. Aishwaryagat, those who are attracted to Bhagavan's seva in a mood of awe and reverence. Madhuryagat, those who are attracted to the seva of Krishna in the mood of sweetness. And third, Brahmajyotigat, those who are attracted to the impersonal effulgence. Three types. So, those who in the time of sadhan bhakti worship Narayan in Vaidhi bhakti, at the stage of perfection go to Vaikuntha. Those who worship Radha Krishna, means Braj, Vrindavan Chandra Krishna in the mood of sweetness, at the time of sadhan, at the time of perfection they go to Golok Vrindavan. And those jivas who attempt to merge into the effulgence of Krishna at the time of sadhan, merge in the effulgence of Krishna at the time of perfection, and destroy their existence, called Brahma Sayuj. So this is very nice now. Then what about the devotees of Lord Chaitanya? Rajanath asked. What about the devotees of Lord Chaitanya? Okay. So here's very sweet description. So Babaji Maharaj says, Shri Krishna and Gaura Kishore, Lord Chaitanya, are non-different in tattva. However, there is a slight variation, speciality between them. Because Madhurya has two sections, two prakoshas, like rooms. Where Madhurya predominates is one room of Golok Vrindavan, and where Audauja means mercy, munificence, is another room. Okay, another prakosh. Where Krishna's Swarup is manifest, Madhurya is prominent and Audauja is secondary. And when Lord Chaitanya, Gaura Kishore, where he is situated, Audauja is prominent, mercy is prominent, and Madhurya is secondary. So Krishna has mercy, but that mercy secondary to his sweetness. And Gauranga have sweetness, but that sweetness presided over by his mercy. So little different. They're non-different in tattva, but little variety, little speciality. That's why in Gauranga Lila, because Audauda is there, mercy is there, then devotees not reciprocate with Lord Chaitanya in the same way as Krishna. Lord Chaitanya's friends not wrestling, Mother Yasoda not twisting his ear, Mother Sachi not twisting his ear or beating. So little difference is there. Not difference, Vashishtas, Gurudev would use that word. Okay. Therefore, Golok Vrindavan has two sections, where Lord Krishna is and where Lord Chaitanya is. The Nityasiddhas and Nityamuktas, the associates who reside in Krishna's abode, are attracted first to Madhurya, then to Audharya. And those who reside in Gauranga's abode are attracted first to Audharya and then to Madhurya. Some of them reside in both rooms, both prakosas simultaneously. Those who exclusively worship Krishna in the time of sadhana get one form in Krishna Lila. Those who exclusively worship Lord Chaitanya in the time of sadhana get one form in Lord Chaitanya's place. And those who worship Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya in the time of sadhana get a form in both. Okay. When Brajanath heard this, he could not compose himself. He fell down at Babaji's, weeping profusely. Babaji picked him up and embraced him. Brajanath returned home. No, he took his meal and he said to his grandmother, "Grandmother, if you want to see me in this house, don't talk anymore about my marriage." No. And number two, don't keep any contact with Veni-Madhav. He is my enemy. No. I will never speak with him again. You should also not speak with him again. Otherwise, I will leave home. So Braja's mother was very intelligent. She realized, my God, if I keep pressing like this, he will leave home for Vrindavan or Varanasi. What Bhagavan decides, let that be so. Okay. So very nice chapter, this one. 17. Even though there's so much Tattva Siddhanta, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, always in every chapter he puts some nectar, some idea of the prayojan. Okay, tomorrow is the day after tomorrow, chapter 18. So just quickly, wow, today's class was really quick. I finished already because the first 20 minutes we lost because we had to do the again. So on Sunday is, what Sunday? The beginning of Chaturmas, also Guru Purnima. So many people don't like to follow Chaturmas because it's quite difficult. No tomatoes, no eggplants, no honey, no sesame. What else? Many things. No beans, no soya, no mustard. Many things we cannot eat. So, and this year is 5 months because Purushottam month coming. So many people become afraid because they want to enjoy the tongue. So they fear Chaturmas. But we should try and do, even Grihastha should try and do, because it gives great benefit, and that much vrat, vrat means like Chaturmas, Ekadasi, that much our vrat is strong, that much our bhajan can also be strong. So the first month, all 4 months, devotees should not take honey, eggplant, any type of beans, corn, what else? Mustard seeds, honey, sesame seeds, Loki, many things. Additional to that, in the first month, one should not eat any type of green leaf. No salad, no spinach, no basil, no parsley, coriander. First month is quite difficult. Second month, you can eat all the green leaves, but don't eat yogurt. Third month, you can eat everything, including yogurt, but you cannot drink milk. And Kartik means, in one sense, Kartik's the easiest of all 4. So I encourage everyone to try and do Chaturmas. If you cannot, of course it's difficult, you have children and husband, we understand. But if you cannot do Chaturmas, at least the 2 months of Purushottam and Kartik you have to do. Very carefully, very strictly. Okay? So Sunday is Guru Purnima, that is the beginning of Chaturmas. It's also the appearance of Vyasadeva. So on this day, all Sampradayas, all four Vaishnav Sampradayas, even Mayavad Sampradayas, they worship Vyasadeva because the full moon is the appearance of Vyasadeva, and also worship their Guru Parampara. So it's one very special day. I remember Gurudev in Mathura, thousands of people would come to visit him. You cannot imagine. Thousands and thousands. Huge line would be there. 1996, that's when I first met Maharaj, Madhusudhan Maharaj. That was, Gurudev put us in charge of collecting the mangoes. Because that is mango season now, so hundreds and hundreds of kilos of mangoes. No? And Gurudev would sit there for hours. And people would wait for many hours. But Gurudev would be so personal, so affectionate with every single person. Anyway, Guru Purnima is there. We remember today's class was a little short. Actually, today's class was 1 hour, but we lost the first 20 minutes again. I won't use that new computer again. So today again, read chapter 17 again. Okay, don't forget to study Dasmul Tattva. Also, now I'm learning the first 4 verses. So maybe one day we'll do a Zoom class and everyone can speak the 10 verses at the end. So today again, read 17th chapter and then read 18th, Beda Bed Tattva. You can read that. How many pages is it? Wow, oh, it's not so long. Well, yes, the same as all chapters, no? 25, 26 pages. So today read 17th chapter again, then read 18th chapter, and on Monday we'll speak something again. Go Premanandi, Hare Krishna.